Hello, English learners. Welcome back to PodEnglish, where we help you learn English the right way. Today, we are talking about something very important. We're not learning new words or grammar rules. Instead, we are looking at the big mistakes that stop people from getting better at English. These mistakes help millions of students in the same place for years. This episode will change how you think about learning English. You will understand why people sometimes have trouble with English, why being perfect can hurt your progress. And most importantly, you will learn easy ways to fix these problems and finally speak English well. After this episode, you will know the secrets of successful English learning. You will know what to avoid and what to do instead. These are not just ideas. These are proven methods that can change your learning starting today. So get your coffee or tea, sit back, and let us discover the truth about learning English that nobody talks about. Did you know that you need to see a new word 5 to 16 times before you remember it? But most English students expect to learn new words after seeing them just once or twice. This wrong thinking is just one of many problems that make learning English slower. Think about babies. When they learn their first language, they make mistakes every day. They put words in the wrong order. They make up new words that do not exist, but nobody stops them. Nobody says they are bad at languages. They just keep trying and playing with words. But when adults learn languages, something changes. We become afraid of mistakes. We want everything to be perfect right away. This new way of thinking creates big problems that can stop us for years. Scientists have studied this many times. They found that adult language learners often create their own biggest problems. Not because they are not smart or don't work hard, but because they fall into common traps that hurt their progress. The fear of speaking trap. The first and biggest trap is being too afraid to speak. This happens when students become so scared of making mistakes that they stop talking in English completely. They spend months studying grammar books, learning vocabulary lists, and watching English videos. But when they need to actually speak, they cannot do it. Here is what happens in a scared student's mind. Before speaking, they think about every word. They check if the grammar is right. They worry about their accent. They imagine all the bad things that might happen. By the time they finish thinking, the conversation is over. The chance to speak is gone. This trap is very dangerous because it feels like you're working hard. You are studying. You are learning new words. You understand more and more English. But without speaking practice, your skills stay locked in your head. You can understand everything, but cannot use English when you need it most. The answer starts with changing how you think about mistakes. Instead of seeing errors as bad things, good learners see them as helpful information. Each mistake tells you something important about what you need to practice. Native speakers make mistakes too. They forget words, say wrong things, and use bad grammar sometimes. The difference is they do not let small problems stop them from talking. Try this method. Set a daily speaking goal that focuses on communication, not being perfect. Maybe record yourself talking about your day for 2 minutes. Maybe write comments on social media in English. Maybe talk to yourself while making dinner. The important thing is to make mistakes in a safe place where you can learn from them without feeling bad. Start with simple topics. Talk about your morning routine. Describe what you see out your window. Tell a story about your last weekend. Don't worry about perfect grammar or pronunciation. Focus on getting your message across. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Remember that speaking is like any other skill. You would not expect to play piano perfectly after reading music books for months. You need to practice pressing the keys. The same is true for English. You need to practice moving your mouth and making sounds. Create speaking opportunities every day. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Read books out loud. Repeat after movies and TV shows. Join online conversation groups. The key is to speak regularly, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. The grammar study trap. The second big trap is studying grammar too much. Many students believe that learning all English grammar rules is the key to speaking well. They spend years studying complex rules, memorizing exceptions, and analyzing sentence patterns. While grammar is important, this method often creates more problems than it solves. When you focus too much on grammar, you start thinking like a computer instead of a person. You pause in the middle of sentences to think about verb tenses. You worry about whether to use the or a in different situations. You lose the natural flow of conversation. Research shows that children learn their first language without studying grammar rules. They learn patterns by listening and practicing. They develop a natural feeling for what sounds right and what sounds wrong. This same natural process can work for adult learners, but only if you don't think too much about every sentence. The best English speakers are not grammar experts. They are communication experts. They know how to share their ideas clearly and effectively. They understand that talking is about connecting with people, not about showing perfect grammar knowledge. Here is a better way to learn grammar. Instead of studying rules by themselves, learn them in real situations. When you hear a new structure in a conversation or a movie, notice how people use it naturally. Pay attention to the rhythm and music of the language. Let your ear learn what sounds right. Focus on the grammar that you actually need for daily communication. Most conversations use simple structures. Learn these basic patterns first. Advanced grammar rules can wait until you are comfortable with everyday talking. Practice grammar through speaking and writing, not just reading about rules. When you learn a new tense, make sentences with it. Use it in conversations. Write short stories with it. This active practice helps you remember better than just reading explanations. Don't worry about making grammar mistakes while speaking. Native speakers break grammar rules all the time in casual conversation. They use incomplete sentences, mix tenses, and create new word combinations. The important thing is that people understand them. The comparison trap. The third trap is comparing yourself to other people all the time. This happens when students constantly look at other English learners and feel bad about their own progress. They see someone speaking English well and immediately feel sad about their own abilities. They forget that everyone starts from a different place and has different goals. Social media makes this trap even worse. You see videos of people speaking perfect English and think they learned it very quickly. You do not see the years of practice, the thousands of mistakes, the times they felt frustrated and wanted to give up. You only see the final result, and it makes your own progress seem small. This comparison thinking creates a bad cycle. You feel bad about your level, so you lose motivation. You study less, practice less, and naturally improve slower. This makes you believe that you are not good at languages, which makes you feel even worse. Many students give up completely, thinking they simply cannot learn English. The truth is that learning English is not a race. It is a personal journey with its own timing. Some people have more time to practice. Some hear English every day at work. Some started learning when they were children. None of this means they are smarter or more talented than you. Successful learners focus on their own progress, not on other people. They celebrate small wins. They track their improvement over time. They remember where they started and see how far they have come. Make your own success goals. Maybe it's understanding a movie without subtitles. Maybe it's having a phone conversation in English. Maybe it's writing an email without using a dictionary. Choose goals that are important to you and celebrate when you reach them. Keep a progress journal. Write down new words you learn, conversations you have, or moments when you understand something new. When you feel discouraged, look back at this journal and see how much you've improved. Remember that everyone learns at their own speed. Some people are naturally good at pronunciation. Others are better at grammar. Some learn vocabulary quickly. Others are good at understanding native speakers. Find your strengths and build on them while working on your weak areas. The passive learning trap. The fourth and final trap is passive learning. This happens when students spend most of their time consuming English content, reading articles, watching videos, listening to podcasts, without actively practicing speaking or writing. They become good at understanding English, but cannot use it fluently when they need to. Passive learning feels comfortable and productive. You can improve your understanding while sitting on the couch. You learn new words naturally through context. You hear different accents and speaking styles. But without active practice, these skills only work one way. Think about it this way. If you wanted to learn to cook, you would not just watch cooking shows for months. You would need to go to the kitchen and practice. The same thing applies to learning English. You need to actively use the language to become fluent. The best approach combines passive and active learning together. Use passive learning to input new language and improve your understanding. Then immediately practice using what you learned through speaking and writing exercises. Try the echo method. After watching a video or listening to a podcast, pause and repeat what you heard in your own words. This forces you to process the information actively and practice pronunciation at the same time. Use the summary method. After reading an article or watching a video, write a short summary in your own words. This helps you practice organizing thoughts in English and using new vocabulary in context. Create active learning habits. After every passive learning session, do something active. Speak about what you learned. Write your opinion about it. Discuss it with someone. The balance is the key to real improvement. Try teaching what you learn. Explain new concepts to a friend or family member in English. Teaching forces you to organize information clearly and use the language actively. Even if the other person does not understand English, the practice is still valuable. Transform passive activities into active ones. Instead of just watching movies, repeat interesting phrases out loud. Instead of just reading news articles, discuss them with online partners. Instead of just listening to podcasts, take notes and summarize the main points. In this episode, I love to share a useful phrase that can help your English right away. Today's phrase comes from learning and motivation. Our phrase is, practice makes progress, not perfection. This phrase reminds us that the goal of practice is not to be perfect, but to get better step by step. Each time you practice, you improve a little bit. Each mistake teaches you something valuable. Each conversation builds your confidence. You can use this phrase when encouraging yourself or others. For example, I know my pronunciation is not perfect yet, but I remember that practice makes progress, not perfection. Or do not worry about making mistakes in our conversation. Practice makes progress, not perfection. Remember this phrase when you feel frustrated with your progress. Instead of expecting perfection from yourself, focus on the small improvements you make every day. So let us remember what we learned today. First, being afraid to speak keeps you from using English because you worry about making mistakes. The solution is to see errors as learning chances and focus on communication, not perfection. Second, studying grammar too much can actually slow down your progress by making you think too much about every sentence. Learn grammar through real situations and focus on communication patterns. Third, comparing yourself to other learners takes away your motivation by making you feel bad about your level. Remember that everyone has their own learning journey and timeline. Fourth, passive learning alone will not make you fluent. You need to balance input with active practice through speaking and writing exercises. These ideas can change your English learning experience starting today. Choose one trap that sounds familiar to you and promise to avoid it this week. Notice how this change affects your confidence and progress. If this episode helped you understand your learning problems better, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other English learners who might benefit from these ideas. Your support helps us create more content that makes a real difference in your language learning journey. Don't forget to subscribe to PodEnglish for more practical tips and methods that actually work. We are here to support you every step of the way to English fluency. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, knowing about these problems is the first step to fixing them. Now that you know what to avoid, you can focus your energy on what actually works. Until next time, keep practicing, keep improving, and keep believing in yourself. Your English fluency is closer than you think. See you in the next episode.